Hello and welcome to a new video, guys. Today we'll be discussing CORRODE, and I know a lot of you guys might have gotten used to play this map individually, but still a lot of players don't know how to play this map as a team, right? So we'll be talking particularly about that, how to play CORRODE as a team in defense, and for attack we can make another video. I know next week you guys have Premier, that's why I'm making this video. Maybe you can learn something from it and implement it in your team. Now let's move forward and let's discuss some really good agents for this map. I think for duelist, Raze, Neon, Yoru and Vele are going to be really good options. For initiators, if you want to go for like single initiator, Fade is going to be the best. If you want to go for like the double initiators, I think KO and Gecko can be really good options. For sentinels, I think Cypher and Deadlock will be really good options. For controller, I think Omen is just gonna dominate on this map. For double controller, I think Viper is just gonna be insane. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the dynamics of the map, right? The first thing that we need to know is, as defenders, having mid control is gonna be like the most important thing. If you don't have the mid control, your rotations are so bad. Okay, just imagine rotating all the way from spawn all the time. You see like the opponents executing something, right? So you need the mid control so you can rotate faster. Okay, as simple as that. For A, you don't want to play on retake. Okay, why? Because there are so many angles on A, right? So you always should try not to play A for retake. And I'll also be teaching you some concepts on how to defend A, but we'll be coming to that like later. Okay, for B, the main idea here is that it's gonna be more like sunset. Okay, B side, where the teams as defenders would avoid to play in this particular area. Why? Because attackers would usually just util dump that area, right? So it doesn't make sense for you to just play in those spots, right? So usually what teams do, they would play in spots like these, and as soon as the opponents are taking the control, they would either flood in, insta retake, or just simple retake. That's how the teams usually play. I think CORRODE B would also be like played very similarly, where you would avoid to like play in spots like these, and then you would prefer to play spots like these. Okay, and then when they take the side, you just play for retake, or you just fight from these spots and have with good traps and not let them have the side as well. Okay, that's how the B side will work. Also, it's gonna be a little bit hard for attackers to execute. It's gonna be easy to util dump the site, but it's gonna be hard to enter because there is only one choke point, right? Unless you're fighting all the way from middle and you're having like a split. Okay, that's a different thing, and that's gonna be really hard for the opponents as well. Why? Because we are fighting for middle. You forgot? Don't forget that. Okay, you always need to fight for middle. Now this is how mainly sorry, one last thing I forgot to mention. B is also going to be easy to retake. Why? Because you have like 3 different lanes to fight for, and you can just crunch the enemies here, right? Unless the opponents have the heaven and CT control, it's going to be really easy to retake. Okay, now by the way, did you got a tip? What I just mentioned, if the opponents will have the heaven and CT control, it's going to be hard for us to retake, right? So whenever you're playing in defense, and if you're playing on retake, make sure you're trying to like defend these areas. Don't forget that. Okay, otherwise your teammates will shout at you. Let's move forward. Now I have taken this composition today to teach you guys. The reason is, I think this is basically inspired by Wolves, and I really love the concept, the Viper wall, the Cypher traps and everything. They are playing Yoru. I've just added Raze because I think Raze is going to be much simpler and also more efficient to implement on this map. Okay, so let's learn a bit about how to play this composition in defense. But before that, we'll learn 2 concepts. Okay, 2 concepts. The first one is layers, like playing in layers, and the second one is question marks. Some of you might know this, some of you might not know this. Okay, first let's discuss what is playing in layers. Basically, playing in layers means that you need to, for example, there are like 3 different zones. Okay, for attackers to take. First is this, second is this, and the third is gonna be like the site zone. Okay, as defenders, you're gonna pressure or resist them in the first layer. So the opponents have to burn their util to get that space. At the same time, you're not gonna die. You're gonna have an escape plan for the second layer. So when the opponents have burned their utils to take the first space, they'll have to burn more utils to take the next zone, because you're again ready to resist them more in the second layer. And after that, you also have a fallback plan for the third layer, or like the final layer or the retake layer, where now to get the site again, they'll have to like, burn more utils. That's basically playing in layers. And why playing in layers so important and so good is, like I just mentioned, you're making them burn their utils in to take every zone of the map, as well as you're having escape plan, so you're not dying as well. So whenever they are in the post plans, they will have less utils to actually hold the site. Second thing, you're also buying more rotations for your team, right? Like we just discussed, playing retake A is going to be close to impossible. So playing in layers would be so important on this side specifically. Okay, so don't forget the layers concept. Let's move over to the next concept, or like next term, which is question marks. What is question marks? Question mark is basically whenever you have made the opponents concerned about some walk-ins, or like some I'll just quickly explain you. For example, this is going to be like a default wall in attack. Okay, let's say opponents have like made this wall, pressured you guys in attack, and they do this smoke. Okay, now how many angles are you guys concerned from? One is this, one is this, and then other two are these angles, right? So now there are 4 question marks that defenders have to be concerned about. So they will need like more manpower to watch all these angles, unless they just group up together, they fight again, and they just re-clear that space. That way they can get rid of the question marks. But you got the point, right? The more possibilities you create for the opponents, or like you make them concerned, the more manpower they will need to hold those spaces, right? So that's called question marks. And that is a really important thing to know, because if the opponents are playing the exact same composition, or like any composition with Viper against us, they might do this wall, which is again the wolves wall, which is really good, and it will create a lot of question marks for us, right? How do we reply to that? Like I just mentioned right now, that defenders will need to re-clear the space so that they can get rid of the question marks, right? So that's basically the whole concept. Like we discussed, we're going to be fighting for middle, but if the opponents are going to like pull this wall on us, okay, we can use prowlers to re-clear the space, so we know for sure, like there is either no one lurking, or if we know, we can just fight them. There is like no fake concerns there, like, or question marks, right? So we can use prowler, but the problem here is prowler is expensive, and if the Viper is pulling up the wall multiple times, it's gonna exhaust our fade utils, right? And we don't want that. So I've also got like a solution for you guys. Okay, what we can do is, instead of having the whole Cypher setup towards B, we can have a simple Cypher setup towards B, and we can have him play towards the middle area. Okay, and I'll like discuss why it's gonna be so good. Okay, but before that, I'll quickly show you like the Viper setup, which is this wall, okay, and this orb, which Viper can do from this position, and I will add all the lineups which I've discussed in the video in the end. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Now just look at how good this Viper setup is, because now you have wall for like B main, okay, you have smoke or wall for like middle, and then you also have a smoke for A main, so you can have all the Omen smokes to burn as you want, or you can just use that to just create like resistance, so that opponents have to like again use more utils to get the space. Okay, now coming over to the Cypher thing. Okay, I don't really like the Cypher idea to just play selfishly like on B with the camera if we are playing with Viper specifically, right? Viper can just be the anchor here, right? We can just leave him to anchor. Now Cypher can just go towards middle and use his camera towards this position. It's gonna be the meta. I'm telling you already, it's gonna be super good. Why? Because if the opponents are gonna pull this wall on us, or any like, you know, heavy util or any smokes on us, you know, we can just simply open the camera and just, you know, have all the information for us. So Cypher can just start here, Viper wall up, he can just go like this, apply the camera, return back, and look, we have the whole mid cross, right? Now you guys will be like, oh, they can hear the camera, you know, they can just break the camera. But that's the beauty of it. Even if they hear the camera, they'll have to manually come all the way above like this to break the camera. And now look at where they are. They are literally exposed from every other angle. And if we can just simply have like a trap setup on the camera, they're completely destroyed. You know, we can even have basic seasonate combos like this, you know, and it's gonna be super powerful. And I've not talked about the most powerful thing yet, and you guys are gonna love it. Low rankers are just gonna be cringed about it, but you guys are gonna love it. The Odin. Yes, I'm right. Yes, you're right, you guessed it right. You can just spot the people and you can just literally spam them. It's like the best thing. Okay, and another reason why Odin is going to be specifically so good for this particular position is because you can just, you know, Odin spam here, fight for like the middle area. If they go B, you can just come over here and just have like Odin spam for the site as well, right? And then if they go A, you can just, you know, rotate like this, you know. In the meantime, your teammates are delaying and you can just play Odin spam from here as well. See, it's super good. This position with Odin is just the goated. Okay, you can just fight for like 3 different spots, like, you know, from the same area with Odin. So if you want to play Odin, play in top mid. Okay, it's gonna be super good. Now coming over, you know, back again, like this camera is just going to be so good that, you know, on the camera you can just have seasonades, omen blind, and like, you know, basic Odin spams, right? And the reason why this is going to be super strong, because now you can also focus towards A main more, you know, where you don't need 2 people particularly to fight this space. You can just have like 1 person like this or like this. On the camera, 2 people are fighting from top mid and 1 person is fighting from here, and it's done. And then the other guy can just be concerned about the A, you know, and then this person can even play, let's say, somewhere here, and just, you know, for him, he can just have like this flash ready as well, right? It's super cool. Or if, let's say, in some round, you want to play a 3-man setup here, since we have the camera, it's just gonna, you know, it's just gonna be so easy for us to just, you know, counter them in middle, because we have the goated camera. You can have 3 players to fight for A, you know, and like we discussed, we do not want to play A for retake. And with this, we just have like, you know, either 3 towards A, or like, you know, 1 person dedicatedly focusing to just, you know, delay them, and then the 3rd person just falling back and then, you know, just fighting for this guy with this guy for like, so that we don't give up A, right? It's just gonna be so good. Now I'll also like show you guys, like, first before moving forward, we need to know that if you're playing like this, if the opponents are fighting for link, these 2 players need to react and go and fight for them. If the opponents are fighting for this area, this guy have to react and fight for them, right? So don't forget to do that. Moving forward, I'll show you like some combos which you can also like do in attack. For example, with Raze, like I'll quickly show you. You can just, you know, have your nade. You can play like this. They're coming in, you just bounce your nade over there and you just keep fighting for that, right? With Omen, I already showed you, like, you know, you can have like flash from like here to here as well, like, you know, to fight that. And if in some rounds you have fade here, or even let's say you have like race towards top mid, or like, you know, wherever, you can just, you know, let's say this person have an Odin on the A side, you're playing double Odins, let's say, that's going to be so good, right? Opponents are going in, you throw a seize, literally you have like the Viper orb, and then you just Odin spam. Imagine seize, decay, Viper, decay and damage, and then Odin spam. They're done for, like it's gonna be so good. That's why this comp, this setup, this idea is just gonna win you so many rounds, like easily, right? Now let's discuss. Let's say the opponents start breaking my camera. Okay, they just start coming up, breaking the camera, falling back, and not getting trapped into my utils. Then what should I do? Then what you can do, you can simply start having this cage over here. You just come here, you aim at this window, and you just throw it like this. Okay, what's this cage gonna do? It's just gonna simply, let's say if they're fighting for middle like this, because they don't have any fear of the camera anymore, because they have found out a way to break that, but you're one step ahead of them, right? You can literally just, as soon as they're fighting something, you can just open the cage, walk behind it, and you just like make a play inside it. Boom. Like, next time when they come here, you open this cage, they're going to be so paranoid about this, right? I give you the best game plan of defense. You just use the camera. As soon as they start breaking your camera, you start using this cage, and literally they're done for, bro. Like, they cannot do anything. Okay, mark my words. It's the easiest way to play this this map. Okay, now I'll quickly give you like the how to like just compile it. Okay, let's say what do we do in pistol round, what do we do in like the next few rounds, like easy. Okay, what you can do in the pistol round, you just play this setup, okay, where you have like the cage here, okay, and you can just simply have the Cypher camera in B for retake. We don't need that in the pistol round. Okay, you have this cage, okay, and you have raise here, and as soon as you see them fighting here, open the cage and you just like make play behind it. Okay, and since you're gonna be doing that in the pistol round only, they're just gonna be so paranoid, and you have just like settled that fear in their mind. And from the next round, you just start having this camera again in middle. Okay, like we discussed, it's just gonna be goated, and then you just have like basic setup, and when they start breaking the camera, then you can start having like the cage again, and boom. If they try to like take middle, you open the cage, they'll be paranoid. Simple. Okay, now let's see if there's something else. I think that's all. The last thing is that I'm gonna show you like a Cypher setup, which is like really cool. I think 2 1-way cages, like these strips, and Viper can just play around it. Insane, right? I'm gonna show you this setup, like how to speed run this at the end of this video as well. Okay, the basic idea is at the start of the round, you just run B, you do this setup, and then you just run towards middle as Cypher, and you just go and like just use your camera like this with the Viper wall. Simple. Okay, like I said, every lineup that I've showed in this video, its link would be in the end of this video. If you have any doubts or anything, you can just comment, or you can add me on Discord, which is Kunal_AKG, and you can just ask your doubts there as well. Okay, I hope you liked this video. If you did, do press the like button, do subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and see you in the next one.
This should do. Wow, this is a nice one. This goes here. We will reveal their secret. Yes, this should do.